Dana. Wristwear by Seconda sponsors the big reunion.
Newly formed and fresh-faced Atomic Kitten and 911 were getting a taste of pop stardom, and they were loving it. In 1996, 911 released 3 singles, all of which inched their way into the nether regions of the charts. But it wasn't until they shook their bodies that they hit the big time.
So a massive turning point for us was Body Shaking. It was a song that catapulted us to bigger than we could ever imagine.
Everywhere we turned up, was just banners everywhere. You got my body shaking all the time.
Body Shaking stormed into the UK charts at number 3 and kick-started the band's global takeover.
We got to Malaysia and no one had told us, like, we'd taken off there. And we just thought we'd be unknown. It was just crazy. We got out of the airport and it was just thousands.
In the end, the record company brought the army in because it was just ridiculous.
We were getting ripped apart, they were pulling our hair, our clothes.
They came in, parted everybody, and we just ran on this bus and obviously gave us an army escort. Police sirens were going everywhere, and we were just thinking, this is ridiculous, it's got to be a wind-up.
He said to me, what's going on here? And they were like, oh, you're #1, like album and single charts. And it just went huge there. I think we finished up 12 times platinum.
And in 1999, the lads hit the ballad button and cracked their first UK #1 with A Little Bit More.
You have to stop it. This is lots of people getting crushed. 1,000 people in here. All for us, wonder why. Can't be our music.
911 had sold a ridiculous 10 million records and were heartthrobs worldwide. But like any boy band, there was one important rule.
Obviously, our manager always said, this is your image, you are seen as a clean-cut boy band. And he did tell us no girlfriends and all that stuff at the start, which obviously we completely ignored.
I was just like a walking hormone. We were just up all night with women and drink.
Jimmy was naughty. Spike was the naughtiest. He was just an animal, he's just a dirty bastard.
There's been many occasions that we kind of woke up and thinking, I don't know what went on last night. All I know is there's 2 women in my bed. I don't know who they are, what their names are, but I've just called a taxi for them.
While touring the Middle East, Britain's cultural ambassadors flew into strict Muslim country Bahrain and behaved as if they were on holiday in Magaluf.
I got smashed at the bar and everybody just jumped in the pool.
Everyone naked and everything, and police turned up and was going to arrest us. They were saying you can get 10 years for this.
It was illegal, you know, you couldn't do that kind of thing.
And they ended up just taking us, like guards, to the stage, putting us on stage, getting us off, driving us straight on the tarmac of the airport and just deporting us.
While 911 were riding high, Atomic Kitten were playing catch-up, but had a breakthrough with the lofty accolade of supporting 911 on their 1999 tour.
What do you think of Atomic Kitten? Too sexy for words, to be honest.
We like to prank him. I think we got a load of foam one time. We just put loads of foam in their shoes, and he wasn't happy.
I think on the last night of the tour, they trashed our changing room and put, like, now I want to shit pictures everywhere. And I went behind stage and pissed in the trainers.
Atomic Kitten were becoming big news, and ITV's This Morning picked the up-and-coming pop act for a week-long feature.
With our first single, Right Now, we released in Japan before we released in Britain. They wanted a film crew to follow us to Japan.
I think I don't even know plane once when we foster parents. Next thing you know, we're travelling the world.
This was a total assault on the senses. Every single thing was fun.
For me, it was an instant family, you know, coming from foster homes to foster homes. There was like the sisters I never had.
Me and Kerry did really become really close friends. She was like my big sister.
Double trouble these colours. We were murder.
After this morning, their first single, Right Now, hit the high streets and hit the charts.
What number are you? Are you happy? Are you crying?
For two of the kittens, it was time to live the pop star life.
Liz was the one who could spend early and be the good girl. I mean, Tash was like, yeah, let's go out partying, woo! You know, Carl's in trouble.
Oh my God, talk about binge drinking. It's a disgrace. We could literally drink all night and still be up at 7 o'clock.
And with Kerry's newfound fame and penchant for Night on the Tiles, the press had found their new tabloid darling and couldn't get enough of her.
I have had 4 sets of foster parents, 3 refugees, 8 different schools. You know, I have had a tough childhood. I actually thought if I get famous, that would make everything better. Unfortunately for me, because I have got such a colourful past, I didn't realise the fame was going to be as intrusive as what it was. And out of the 3 of us, it was me they focused on. That's when the paparazzi started. It was a lot to take on. And like at certain points, the 2 girls were getting a bit pissed off that I was being used for SMTV for chums. And I was like, look, girls, you do it. I just want to go on the stage and perform.
Okay, your night was a bit tolerable. You seem like my kind of guy. I hope you're not stuck up out.
It was because I was dead gobby. I had a good set of boobs on me. One of the 2, I don't know.
With Kerry and the girls just breaking through, for 911, the real madness of life at the top of the pops was in full effect. The boys were jet-setting around the globe, performing, promoting and partying hard. They might have been living the high life, but it was starting to take its toll on the band's dynamic.
The first 3 years we worked so hard. I think we had 10 days off in total in 3 years.
I've actually got a schedule, it's ridiculous. Cardiff, London, Southampton, Sheffield, Slovenia, Austria, Germany, Belgium.
Me and Spike had an earpiece each. We had a guy talking in English to our ear, and she was talking German to us, so we're like...
Our workload just increased massively. It was 24/7.
Switzerland, Germany, London, Glasgow, London.
This is what it was like day to day.
Wow. Wow.
Looking back to how it was then, you was basically in prison. It was ridiculous. You got to the point where you just get into photo shoots and thinking, how are you going to put me in a magazine? I can't even open my eyes.
Right, I had half an hour's sleep. I'm wrecked.
It's just killing us. We're like fainting everywhere. We just never stopped.
I remember crying and just saying that I can't cope with it all.
By 2000, for 911, it looked like things were starting to unravel, and for the kittens, friendships were still strained.
Tash and my relationship, it was like that sister that you didn't really see much of unless you kind of had to. I used to get annoyed with Liz because Liz never had a yes or no opinion. Tash was always very tough, very straight down the line, and I was always very sensitive.
And when they shot the video for their second single, See Ya, a divide within the band was becoming painfully obvious.
On that video shoot, I felt left out because Kerry and Tash were getting like really close, and I had to do like solo shots and stuff, and a lot of their shots were together. I remember looking at that video thinking I was just doing everything by myself.
The relationship between Liz and Tash was now starting to deteriorate beyond repair.
We had a massive gig in GAY once, and I think she just turned around to me and said, you didn't do that step right on stage. I was a bit like, why did you do that? Because we said you weren't going to do that. And then we got progressively more and more and more angry to a point where we were literally screaming at each other. And she just went, ah! And she just launched at me. I kind of like spring jumped off the sofa. Ah! You know, you just go, what the hell's just happened?
It was inevitable that if you put a group of feisty kittens together, it would end in a catfight. While Atomic Kitten was scrapping with each other, 911 were notching up conquests around the world. But for the poster boy of pop, it all changed the night they performed with a bewitching girl band.
The Bewitched Girls,
They were proper, innocent, nice girls. I think the managers kept them away from us, even though Lee got there in the end.
Which supported us in Summer 98 and our arena tour. But I met Lindsay again. It was the Spice Girls concert at Wembley Stadium, and Lindsay was there. That was the first time I thought, well, she's really cute, like. Why didn't I notice her on my tour? She's very, like, calm and serene and very elegant, beautiful. And from then on, I thought, this girl's special, definitely. And we started seeing each other as much as we could then. It was fun. It was fun getting to know each other and stuff them days. Got engaged and then we had an amazing fairy tale wedding. That whole day was just the best day ever. So from meeting in like 98, yeah, I mean 13 years together is a long, long time, and we just mutually decided to separate a year ago, and so hard for both of us that maybe it just had to be done. I still find it tough that we're not together. I mean, I guess if she rang me tomorrow and said, how do you fancy us getting back together, then I would. She's my wife, I love her, so, but reality says it's probably not going to happen.
Interband relationships like Lee and Lindsay's had tabloids fighting over headlines, but when Kerry Katona started dating Brian McFadden from Westlife, things went off the scale.
We were told by the record company, do not date anyone from a boy band.
Westlife being the biggest boy band there was, that caused a hell of a lot of problems. Tash was furious. We started getting a bit of hate mail and things, so I thought it's all just too complicated just because I fell in love.
The unwanted attention from the press led to further fights between the kittens.
Liz and Kerry had a big fallout at the end, in the confinement of a Chrysler Voyager.
Rang the tour manager up, Carl, said, look, can Brian come with us in the car?
I didn't know that she was bringing Brian for the day, but I'd cleared it with Carl that I could bring my little brother.
And we picked Tash up and then went pick Liz up, and Liz had come walking out with her younger brother at Joe.
And because Brian was already in the car, the main thing was that Joe was just not going to be able to get in the car. So that really, really, really annoyed me.
Liz is the sweetest girl you'll meet in your life. She wouldn't harm a fly.
Yeah, I hit her.
Well, that was it. I undone my seatbelt, I've jumped over, I've gone for her. She actually shit herself in the back of the car.
I was in the front with the driver. I was a bit like, what's going on?
I kicked her out the car. I said, drive off. I left her in the street. I was screaming. I was so angry.
That fight really ruined their relationship.
I used to make her get changed in the dressing rooms downstairs at SMTV in the toilets. On stage, I literally got to stamp on her foot.
Didn't end on a good note for them two at all.
This debacle was the last straw for Kerry.
I just completely broke down. I thought, I don't want this anymore. Obviously then dating Brian, and I was kind of putting him first as well. I was kind of neglecting the band a little bit anyway.
I think she thought, oh, well, leaving the band, I can, you know, be the wife to him, and also kind of the family life that she never had.
With Kerry on the verge of saying see ya for good, the atomic crisis deepened as the group discovered they were about to be dropped by their record label.
I said, I won't leave yet. I'll see it through to the end of Whole again, and then I'm gone. And then I found out I was pregnant. I said, I want to leave the band. I don't want this anymore.
So I was crying in a ball, going, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Honest to God, it was such a slap in the face. I said, listen, Liz, Atomic Kitten is about 3 people. It's not just about Kerry. And we will get through this. She went, hey, look, it's going to be all right. We'll get someone else in.
Tash and Liz got a new member, Jenny Frost, on board. Meet Atomic Kitten version 2.
The reincarnation of Atomic Kitten. It went through the roof.
So it was like 2 weeks later, so they went to number 1.
When Whole Again stayed at number 1 for an entire month, instead of being dropped, the Kittens were the darlings of the industry once more. Jenny Frost will not be joining the other Kittens. Pregnant with twins, she's about to produce her own double act. Coming up, the epic demise of our kings and queens of pop.
I remember saying to my mum, I wish I was dead, and I meant it.
Bollocks, fuck the lot of you, I'm going.
Richie comes home to help Five with their quest to find a new member. With a life-changing gig in their sights, the Kittens contemplate life with Kerry back in the lineup.
I don't think we did harmonies when Kerry was in the band. I think they used to turn Kerry's mic off.